Hello. Hello. I'm Claire Louise Hay from BeHealing.com. Welcome to Psychic Cafe. Let's arrange things here. I'm good. I woke a little late. I woke up at 7:10. Usually, my connection's unstable. Why? I don't know why. Let's go on my live, make sure I'm there. Am I here? Yes. And then I can see the chat. Hello. Anyone that's on watching me, say hello. Tell me where you're from. Okay, yeah, I woke up a little late. Well, late for me. Usually I'm up like 5:30 or 6 o'clock or something, but I woke up at 7:10 this morning. And yeah, so it was a bit of a rush. It was a bit of a rush getting ready and getting prepared for this. I had all these ideas of getting up early and doing all my daily reads and the general weekly read before this, but it didn't happen. I slept instead. So I've got my coffee and I've got my cards. I've got you and I've got me. I've got a voice so I can chat. So all is well. So I picked out a card for today. And we've had this one before in Psychic Cafe. Going around in circles now. We've got higher power, which is lovely. This is source. This is God. This is the higher power wanting to help you. There's a key on her forehead there. Key on her third eye in the picture there. Can you see that? Can you see it? Maybe the lighting is not perfect. There, maybe you can see it now. So yeah, she's got a key on her third eye, and so that shows that the key to the resolution of any problem or challenge or anything that's going on in our lives is through that higher power. It's from listening to that higher power. And through our third eye, that's where we get like our spiritual seeing. That's when we see the signs. It's when we get that guidance. And so let's see what Colette Baron Reid has to say about this one. Conscious contact with a higher power. This card reminds you that you are more than a person trying to get ahead and make things happen for yourself and others. You have an immortal soul and are gifted with a human life, through which a higher power can express itself. At this time, you need to be more conscious of your connection to spirit and foster it through prayer and meditation. Ask, what is the highest good for all? How can I serve? Then get out of your own way and trust that there's a plan for your life, more wondrous than you can ever know. You're always protected and divinely directed. I didn't have time for my meditation this morning. It just reminded me. Because meditation is so important to this connection. It is. It's a beautiful picture. It's a bit wishy-washy though. I mean, for showing you on this screen, it's just like cloud people. But beautiful nonetheless. So that's the overriding theme for today, is higher power. And when I first picked it out this morning, so long ago, I got the hit that it was about letting the higher power help us. Whether you believe in your higher self or a God or angels or whoever it is that you ask, or archangels, whoever it is you ask for help for, or whether it's just the universe. The solutions are there and we can ask for help. And in fact, if we don't ask for help, then we can't get help. We need to ask. We need to ask for it. We have free will here. As human beings, we have free will. And if we don't ask for help, then we won't get help. We need to ask for it. And so a lot of people only get to that point of crying out to the universe for help when they hit rock bottom or something really goes wrong. But you don't need to wait for that. You can You can ask for help in any moment for anything. Like, you're not going to waste Source's time. You're not going to waste the higher power's time, because there isn't any time anyway. And so we can all get all of the help that we need and more. We can ask even more. So don't be afraid of asking for help. Also, there's a real power in surrendering things over as well, and in knowing that we're not in this by ourselves and just handing it over to the higher power. If you've got a problem, no matter what that problem is, hand it over to the higher power saying, can you sort this out for me? Because it's a little too much for me. I'll play my part, but just hand it over. That surrender, that letting go, it's really powerful. Doesn't look like anyone's going to join me live today. These have been quiet on the weekends. I still want to do them though. It's kind of a nice little routine that I've got myself into. Okay, so I just watched the daily read, which is on my YouTube channel for today, which is the 13th of October. And it was about, the energies were about going for it and not letting any kind of blame hold you back from going for what you want, taking action. So maybe you're blaming someone else, maybe you're blaming yourself, maybe you're blaming some external conditions. Maybe you've got an excuse as to why you're not going for it. Sort the excuse out rather than not going for it. Sort the excuse out and go for it. We make all kinds of excuses. All of us. I'm not immune to it too. And when we become aware of the excuses that we make to not do things or not to have what we want, especially if we find, say we're trying to manifest something, right? And we keep on asking for it and it's not manifesting, and we're not in alignment with it somehow, and we can't figure out what that is, and then we make an excuse as to why we don't want it in the first place. That's a really common one for me. I'll do that. I'll make an excuse as to why I didn't want it in the first place. And yeah, but when I become aware of those, it's like, actually, I do want that thing, and that's just an excuse because I can't seem to figure out how to get in alignment with it to allow it into my life. So, ow, that's really hot. So yeah, today's energy is about moving forward. It's about going for it and not letting those excuses stop you. Right. What else was there today? Something about owning your strength. So not, when people put you down for stuff that's great about you, saying that you're too this or you're too that. For me, it's been too muscly, too strong, too fit, do too much exercise. None of it's true, just myself. Or we can get like too bossy if you're a leader, or if you're confident, too arrogant if you're confident. So people throw these criticisms at us, saying that we're too something, when they're not comfortable with themselves. So like if we're confident, they don't want to, if they're not feeling confident, they don't want us to be confident too. Hey Samantha, how are you? Where are you watching from, Samantha? Oops. Do you claim to be psychic? Yes, I am psychic. I've been psychic all my life, and so by psychic I mean being able to connect not just with my higher self or angels or people that have passed, but also other people's too. Been doing it professionally for 20 years. Really helps people. It's awesome. So, what was I saying? Yeah, the energies of today from the daily read. It's, hey Christina, how are you? Yeah, I can contact your grandmother. That's a medium reading. So I don't do that kind of thing on these lives. These are just like mini readings from your higher self. But if you'd like to book in with me for a reading, in the description box below this video, you can find the sign up there, and it would be a guidance reading that you'd want, and then you just need to send me her name for me to be able to connect with her. Christina, where are you watching from? Yeah, just click on those links in the box. So It's Australian dollars, 120 Australian dollars for, that's a 3-page reading. So I do all of this in my own time. I write it all down, connect in, write it all down, send it to you so you got it to keep. Or you can double the length to a 7-page reading if you want much more information from it, like say if you've got questions for her. And that's an extra 100, so it's 220 Aussie dollars. Just kidding, don't feel like getting scammed for fake information. No problem. Florida, Christine. Awesome. So what time is it in Florida? I'm guessing it's 8 o'clock in the morning here, well, 10 past now. But I'm guessing it's like in the evening there for you. So let's pick some cards out to go more into the energies. 10 past 9. Cool. Yeah, so more into the energies for day. So it's very much a day for going for it and sorting out the crap that you've got inside of yourself, the excuses that you've got to not go forward, especially when it's about blaming someone else, blaming yourself, blaming external conditions, blaming maybe family, blaming where you were born, blaming the conditions that you have around you. It's like sort those excuses out and go for it rather than holding yourself back. So going deeper into the energies for today, we've got communication coming and accept what is. So if you're going to move forward on something and actually go for something that you want, make some changes in your life today, it's good to do it from a place of acceptance of where your life is at right now. So often when we want to have changes in our life, we'll try and fight reality as it is. So we fight what we want now, thinking that if we're fighting it, then we're going to get change more easily. But that's not what happens. We get change more easily when we're accepting what is in our lives right now. And then we can make better decisions for ourselves, or we can make that decision to make some changes. We've also got communication coming with this. And so it's not always up to you to make that decision, to take that action. What I mean by that is it can be just you getting really clear on what you want, and that you want something, you're clear on that, you're going to go for it, even though you don't know how to go for it. You don't know how to reach out for it. You don't know what your next step is for that. But when you get to that place of acceptance that you are going to go for it and you do want it, then it comes to you. Then someone contacts you, something happens, right? Hey Annie, how are you? Where are you from, Annie? So let's have a look. Okay. More energies for today. We've got face the situation and joy. You know how sometimes we go through life as a bit of a pessimist when we're looking at what we don't like about our life, focusing on what we don't like about it and what our complaints are, rather than focusing on what we're really happy with. Our subconscious mind has a negative bias. That means it'll go to the negative because it's trying to protect us. That's what the subconscious mind does. It tries to protect us from perceived harm. So we have this negative bias, right? And some people can, when they're not meditating, when they're not training themselves to quiet their mind, excuse me, quiet the mind and be like in control of the mind, give the mind more space, then they can actually get taken over by this subconscious voice, and they can become that same energy, that same negative energy, that same negative bias. And when you do that, so when you're succumbing to that subconscious mind, the one that just goes on and on and on about stuff in the background, the one that we listen to when we're in meditation, we listen to where it goes to, and we bring ourselves back to the breath or whatever it is that we're focusing on. And you'll notice when you listen in meditation how negative that subconscious mind is. And so when we let that run the show, when we let that be what is in our mind, and our mind's really powerful, our mind is what is attracting, our thoughts are what are attracting. If we're not choosing our thoughts, conscious thoughts of what we want and how we want to see the world, then we let that subconscious mind take over, and we become that negative bias too. So this today is saying, just watch out for that, like face the situation, face the truth of it, that there's lots to be happy for, joyful for in your life, you can look on the positive side of things of what yet you have. This is about having an attitude of gratitude, that kind of thing. Being grateful for the good things in your life rather than focusing on what's wrong. Christina knows what she wants. That's a good thing. Annie Campbell, doing well. Massachusetts. Okay. Your mind's all over the place. You need to meditate, Christina. Meditate. So meditation is just about watching your mind. It's just about sitting quietly, listening to your mind. And then your mind will go off. It'll take you off in a certain direction. And then when you remember that you're sat trying to meditate, you'll bring yourself back to the breath or whatever you're focusing on. You bring yourself back to that space, just noticing that your mind went off, not telling yourself off for it, not feeling bad for doing that, just noticing and then bringing it back. And you just keep on doing that. And as you keep on doing that over and over again, it's like exercise for the mind. You're exercising the conscious mind to be the watcher of the subconscious mind. And the more you do that, the more often you do that, especially, it's really good to do it in the morning. And I missed mine this morning because I was up too late this morning. But I'll be doing my meditation straight after this. Because it really helps you. And not only helps you, like the card for the day is higher power, right? So this is your higher self. This is God or source or the universe or angels or whatever you want to call it. And it's there to help you. And so not only when you're meditating do you become more of the controller of your mind, so you can access your conscious mind, those thoughts that you consciously choose to have, more than the subconscious mind. But you create the space in your mind, and when there's space in your mind, your higher self can come in, that higher power can come in and give you ideas. And so once you've been meditating for a while, or it could be straight away, you might find that you get really good ideas during your meditation. Like your mind will wander, but it'll feel different when it wanders, and it'll be a really good idea. Or you meditate, and then after your meditation, you go about your day, you start doing whatever it is that you need to do, and then you'll get a really good idea. And so what happens is your mind creates that space. When your mind has got space, you're offering a different vibration. When it's just space, you're not offering any vibration, in fact. And so that's when source can take over. So that's why it's really powerful. Gratitude, Annie says, yeah. On day 5 of 21 dishes, I did start it, right? But I was on day 3 when I didn't feel well, and so I didn't do day 3. And so I don't know whether to start again or just start day 3 today. And I didn't do it yesterday either, I forgot. Yeah, I want to. How's it going for you? I love that program, right? Yeah, if you want to learn how to meditate, I've got a program on BeHealing.com. 21 wishes in 21 days. It's only short meditations, the guided meditations you listen to every day, about 8 or 10 minutes long or something. And what you do is you write down 21 things that you want to manifest, and then you read through that list each day before you listen to the meditation. And the meditations are all about a different subject, and each one of them helps you get into alignment. Just by listening to it, helps you get into alignment with what it is that you want. Hey Joio, how are you? I'll be doing the readings soon for people. Love it. Just started meditating a few weeks ago. Oh, isn't it awesome? And when you first start, because it's such a difference from what you've been used to, you get really powerful meditations. It's an unfortunate thing is that when people have been meditating for longer, you get used to it. It's like, and when you become more in control of your conscious mind, less letting that subconscious mind run the show, what happens is it's not much of a difference anymore. When you're meditating, it's not much of a difference to the rest of your life because you're more aware. You find that you become more aware, more self-aware through your daily life. And so that you're not emotionally reacting so much to people, you're not just letting that subconscious mind have its reactions and you're like the puppet going along with that. And so what happens then is when you meditate, you don't have these amazing experiences because from the the vibration you're on and the vibration where you meditate there's a smaller gap, which is a shame because we all miss those amazing meditations we had when we first started. You have your son doing it with you. Oh, cool. That's so cool. True story. 4 years ago, I did 21 wishes and wished for my new home all 21 days. I got what I wished for. Highly recommend. Thanks so much. Hey, and you'll be getting an email from my system soon. You get it like 2 weeks after you've purchased something, and it asks for a review. If you could put all of that stuff in a review, that'll go on the page for 21 wishes in 21 days. That would be awesome. Yeah, when I first did it too. So I made this program for everyone else that doesn't know it. I made this program. I was inspired to make this program because Oprah and what's his name, Deepak Chopra, were doing 21-day meditation series. They started creating those, and there's good reason behind it because it takes 21 days to change something in your consciousness and in your energy. And so if you do something for 21 days, one day after another, then you'll actually create those changes in your life. And it's like, wow, that's a great idea. I was loving doing those meditations with them. And then, yeah, one day I woke up with this idea of like doing it for manifestation. This 21 wishes in 21 days, like my head was full of it when I woke up. And so I can't remember whether I was on the yacht at the time or whether I know it was when I was having a break from the yacht when I'd come back home, maybe to sort some things out or to move house or something. Because I remember recording it, I was sat in the wardrobe. Wardrobes are great as sound rooms to record in because of the clothes around you, they dampen out the sound. Anyway, I remember recording it. And then, yeah, I did it myself. I can't remember what I wished for, but I got most of my wishes come true. It was so cool. So, yeah, it's really powerful. So thanks for sharing that, Anne. I meditated a few months ago and got a scary vision. It was true, but scary. Oh, really? Scary things? I've never had scary things come through in meditation. If you want to tell us more about that, you can. Boo baby, it's helped me so much to get clear on what I want. Helps me stay grounded, yeah. Oh, it's just so good. That's why I was a bit grumpy when I came on here. I was like, I didn't get to do my meditation this morning. Oh, yes, I did before and will again. Thank you so much. Yeah, now I've got this different system. And so when you get the official email asking you for a review, it's like a confirmed purchase, like a verified customer for that product. And so that people know that they can trust those reviews rather than me just, copying someone's review and putting it on there, which anyone could just like make them up, I guess. So yeah, it's much more powerful way of doing reviews in the system that I've got now. This is my son's account. Georgianne. Oh, hi, Georgianne. I know, I never know who people are until they tell me. And often I know them anyway as customers. What's on there? How are you, Georgianne? Poo baby. Funny name. Yeah, so remember, energies of the day. Face the situation and joy. So face what your mind's doing. If you're being pessimistic, if you're going to the negative, face that. Get on the positive side of it. You don't need to let that subconscious mind run the day. Ooh. Right, so going back to the daily read, it was about going for what you want, not using excuses, not letting excuses hold you back. Whether we're making the excuse that someone's to blame, that we can't do something, or the government or the country that we're in, or we aren't good enough, or whatever it is, don't use those excuses. Allow and sabotage. So this is about your sabotages to allowing what you want in your life. We can have all kinds of sabotage. Some people get sick when they start allowing what they want in their life. So you could be going for something and then suddenly you get a cold and it stops you from doing it. Or you could just wreck it. Like when I was managing the Muay Thai stadium And so I was making it really busy there. So I was doing the social media, I was doing all the Farang stuff. So I'm living in Thailand, by the way, for everyone that doesn't realize or know that in the first place. And so I was the only Westerner on the team. And so my management position was to do the social media, to get it really busy, to do the marketing for it, to do the liaison with all of the potential customers, backpackers, in forums and stuff, people that are visiting Thailand or Southeast Asia. And so I made it really busy, right? But the staff, they were used to it being kind of quiet all the time, right? So it got busy. The owner was loving it. The staff were like, now I've got to work really hard. But they didn't sabotage. To be fair, the staff didn't sabotage. But once it got to a certain point where it was growing and actually changes needed to be made, we needed more equipment, we needed more staff, because we were just so busy. So many people showing up for training. And that's when the owner started sabotaging it. That's when I left. That's when I stopped doing it. But the sabotage that he did, it was funny. So I bought a Karcher pressure washer to clean all the mats with. We've got those, those jigsaw piece mats that you find in gyms, and they're really dirty. And so I bought a pressure washer to clean them off, just a secondhand one. And so I'd got some customers. So I've got about 5 customers all prepared to help us clean all these mats, because there's a lot of mats. And so we needed lots of help to get it all done, to shift them outside, to clean them off, and to dry them off, put them back. And and so I got them all ready. So we'd all trained in the morning, and it's like, right, let's do this. Let's wash it. And then he's like, no, I don't want to. I want to go off to Chalak, which is on the south of the island. I'm like, well, you can go off to Chalak. We'll do it. But I need you to help us set this pressure washer up, because the water, he'd know where to connect it and stuff like that. And I didn't know. Just need you to help us to set it up, and then we'll do it. We'll do the rest. You go off to Chalak, not a problem. It's not like it would help anyway. It's not that active. But it wouldn't do it, right? And so I tried to drag him physically, but he didn't. He wouldn't get up. And then so me and one of the customers, we went off to just try and do it ourselves. It's like, fuck you, we're gonna do it ourselves. So we went and tried to set it up. So of course then he came along, and one of his members of staff came along to help us set it up, and then he switched the machine on before the water was going through. I told him not to. You break it. You break those pressure washers when you do that. And then he did it again, and it broke. And so he totally sabotaged it. And then he laughed and said, ha, now we can't do it. So that's one kind of sabotage that we do. And so what kind of sabotage are you using to stop yourself from allowing what it is that you really want? It could be that you just don't stand up for yourself, or you don't speak up for what you want. The kind of people that say, oh, I wanted that. And it's like, well, why didn't you say? Why didn't you get to the front of the line? Why didn't you claim it? That's a sabotage. Yeah. Right, I'm going to pick my cards out for the day. So every day I pick 4 cards out. And then I keep them by my bed. And then I just check in with them at the end of the day. It's like my guidance for the day. Rather than doing lots of readings for myself, or getting so confused, because I'll be recording how many? I'll be recording 8 videos this morning, and 9 including this one. Jealousy and judgment separates. Right, I know what this is. This is in relationships. My last relationship was a cheat. He was a cheat. He was married, and he lied to me, telling me that he's never been married. And this is a Thai thing. And living in Thailand for the last 3 years, they are such cheats, really. And I've become to be wary of it and expect it. Be wary of men, and whether they're true. And so now I've got someone else in my life who's not Thai. He has lived in Thailand for a long time. He's not Thai. But I'm finding it really hard to get back to who I was before I had this experience of so many cheaters in this country. Because cheating didn't, I did have one partner that cheated on me. Like, that's pretty good going. Hey, I'm 48. I've only had one partner cheat on me. And that was more, it was his reluctance to break up the relationship and do it in a communication kind of way. So he blew it up instead by cheating and told me about it, knowing that I would break up with him, which is what happened. So I want to get back to who I was, but it never kicked off jealousy in me. Like I wasn't a jealous person after that one, because that was just him and his silly ways, refusal to face things. But yeah, I have, since I've been living here, I've got this jealousy thing, like, or wariness that men are going to cheat. It's not good, because that's not me, you know. I don't. Okay, and so that's what that is for me today. I've got to get over that somehow, because I don't want to wreck this new relationship coming in for me, because it's awesome. Gratitude and empower self. So back to what I was just saying before, is like, don't let that negativity, don't let my negative mind take over. Thanks for the likes on the video, by the way. It really helps. How cool is it? You know, I've been working on my YouTube channel just for a couple of weeks now. Or is it 3 weeks? I can't remember. Building that up and getting more subscribers. I think we're almost at 500 subscribers now. But the analytics, you know, in the back office in YouTube, the analytics, it says the growth in the last 28 days is like greater than 999% for all areas. It's like, it looks really cool. I know in a couple of weeks it's not going to say that, so I'm enjoying it while it's there. Greater than 999% growth. How cool is that? Yeah, sabotage. How many siblings do I have? Don't you know, Samantha? What a weird question. I don't do this for guessing games. I don't do it for predictions. I don't do it for entertainment. I do it to help people connecting with their higher self, help people have a more amazing life, help people heal themselves. So if you want guessing games, just go and ask your mom. She'll know. Hi. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe we don't care. Okay. Who would like a reading? No silly questions. Maybe you have some lost ones. Oh, you don't know? No problem, Georgia. Well, I don't understand what your situation is, Samantha. Georgianne. Let's get some cards for Georgianne. Right. Georgianne, you've got completion and play. This is like end of games. The end of the games. It's like, have you had people around you that are playing games with you, that aren't being honest with you, that are playing games with you? Because this is saying that there's an end to that, or maybe you should put an end to that. Just like, stop playing your games. Yeah, just watch who you've been around. That's an interesting one. Or maybe you're playing a game with someone. Hey, AP, how are you? Yeah, maybe you're playing games with someone. You need to stop that too, Georgianne. I know so I've got this relationship that's starting very, very slowly. And I started playing games. Like, I realized, and I stopped myself straight away, but I had in my head, it's like, oh no, I'll wait for him to get in touch first. And then I thought, what am I doing? Like, this guy, he's amazing. Like, I would want to be friends with him no matter what. I don't need to play games. I can just be open and be myself. I don't have to play games and say, oh, he's got to be the next one to contact me. So, yeah, I realized that I was playing games. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I just want to be myself. Let it flow. So maybe you've got something like that going on, Georgianne. Maybe you become aware of it. And you know, one of the reasons that I started doing stuff like that, you know, like wait for the guy to get in touch with you first or next or whatever, is because there's all these teachers online, like these things that pop up on my Facebook, and they kind of teach to play games like that. And a lot of it's empowered, but a lot of it's about empowering yourself, you know, because if you're around like an idiot, then you'd you'd want to know if they were never going to get in touch or whatever, if they weren't putting anything into the relationship, if they weren't bothered about it. But that's not the case. So I just need to stop doing all of that. Also, Georgianne, you've got is it true and initiate. So this is about your mind. So get meditating, because this is about not listening to that subconscious mind, or listening to it so that you don't believe it anymore. Initiate that. So yeah, you might want to initiate a regular meditation practice. I was doing like 2 hours a day meditation. That was after my last breakup, just to get back to myself, you know. And I did that for a few weeks, but then now I'm just doing shorter meditations in the morning now. And I didn't do it this morning, but I will after I've done this. Okay, so Georgianne's had her. Yeah, if you want any more questions answered, I'm just doing like these mini readings here. If you want questions answered or something, then just click on the link in the description box for a reading. Christina wants a reading. So you don't need to ask a question, just I'll just pass on messages from your higher self. Christina. Okay, I am love, feel it. So this is about connecting in with your loving nature and feeling who you are. We can end up a bit hardened. You do kind of sound a bit hardened, Christina, if we're all honest. I'm a bit pessimistic and a bit attacky. But your true nature is that you love. And when you feel that, love how you feel how loving you are and tap into that side of it, then life is going to get much rosier for you. What else? Oh, right. This is specific guidance in how in your work or what you've been doing, however you've been of service. It's not necessarily a paid job. It might be just how you've been trying to help people out. You know, it could be like a volunteer thing. It could be just the way that you've been trying to help friends out or something. Your higher self is telling you to quit that, to stop doing it. Maybe the way you're trying to be of service isn't that much help to people. It could be that you're trying to stop people from going through the challenges, which causes people to learn about themselves. Anyway, it could just be that that's not right for you anymore. It's not that they weren't getting help from it, but it's just not right for you anymore, and it's time to focus on your own energy, doing something for yourself in your own life rather than helping others. Any job that we do is like service to somebody, but it needs to be service to ourselves in the first place, because our lives are for ourselves. So if you've been doing stuff for nothing, then go get a job instead. Do something that brings something to your life. You deserve it. You deserve to receive plenty too in your life. Happy. AP, Claire, do you have any messages for me from my higher self today? Surrender is one of your words for the year. AP's up next. Right. So the daily read today is about not blaming, not letting blame of yourself or someone else or something else stop you from going for what you want. You got exactly the same cards, AP. Exactly the same cards from the daily read. So who are you blaming? What are you blaming? Are you blaming yourself? What excuses have you got for not going for what you want? So this is exactly the same as today's guidance in the daily read. So we can make excuses, especially when something isn't manifesting as fast as we'd want it to. We can make excuses as to why we think we're not getting that. And we could call it like our blocks, it's like, I seem to have a block to that. Or we can make excuses like someone's holding us back for that, or back from that. We could make excuses like, I don't have the money for that. It seems like a valid excuse, but it's not, because the money shows up. The money shows up when you go for what you want. You just go ahead with it. I've got a good story for that, in fact, the money coming when you just go for it. So this is back in Australia, when I was living in Australia. And my kids were with me. I've got 3 kids. They're adults now, having kids of their own. And I had a Volkswagen Combi. So when I first moved to Australia, I'd bought this Combi, the old vans that you can camp in, old camper vans. And I used it as my car, and I'd also lived in it for a while when I first moved there too, because I'd moved to Far North Queensland first and travelled down to Byron Bay. And when I'd arrived in Byron Bay, it was just after New Year and very busy, like the busiest time of the year there. So there was nowhere to stay, so I just stayed in a campsite in my van, and then found a room in a share house a few weeks later. I can't even remember how long it was. Anyway, a year after that, my kids came out, so we were doing a year about. My ex had them for the first year, then moved to Australia, and then I had them for a year. And they came out, and while they were out with me, my Combi broke down, stopped working. The side door was falling off. I remember that, it rusted. But something happened to it anyway. But I had my kids there. I needed a car. Like, it wouldn't so much matter if it was just me. I don't need a car. I don't have a car now, but I live on a tiny island, just have a push bike. But I would get by with a push bike. In fact, that's my choice, is just to have a push bike and live in a place where I can just ride a push bike around. But I sound like a total hippie, don't I? And I'm not. Just life choices. And yeah, so it broke down, and I needed a car. Like, I needed a car to take kids to school. Like, my kids were at 2 different schools. My eldest son was at high school, which was pretty close to where we were living, so that didn't matter. But the youngest 2 were at primary school, which was a bit more of a distance. Not a massive distance, but it would have been a long walk to get to school. And so, and shopping and stuff like that, when you've got young kids, 3 of them, you need a car. But I didn't have the money, right? I didn't have the money. I just started my business. I started it not long after I'd got there, but my business was still in its infancy. This was neurotherapy that I used to do. And so I didn't have the money for it. And my friend Steve, who's got he had, I don't know what he's doing now, a garage there, service, fixing cars and stuff. I told him, I'm like, my car's broken down, because he used to fix it for me. It's like, it's done now. You just need to sell it to that guy that for parts. There's a guy there that renovates them. It's like, do you want me to find you a new car? So he'd know when cars were coming up for sale, and he'd be able to get me a bargain. So I said, yeah, you could find me a car. Of course, I didn't have the money for it. I'm like, but yeah, I need a car. And so he finds me a car. He's like, it's $2,200. What was it? $2,200. He said, do you want it? And I said, yeah. Like, not having $2,200, but I wanted it. It's like, well, I'm going for this because it seems easy, and the universe seems to be putting it in front of me, right? And then he got in touch with me a couple of days later saying, oh yeah, I can bring it tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, no problem. Just knowing that somehow it's going to sort itself out. It's going to sort itself out, right? That day, so this is the day before he was bringing it, $2,000 showed up in my account. It was a deposit. It was a mistake that a bank had made, another bank had made, and put $2,000 in my account. And so there, I had the 2,200. So I took it out the ATM. He came round and I paid for my car and I got the car. So not having money is not an excuse because it will show up. It will show up. Sometimes you have to have nerves of steel before it shows up, but it does show up. And so if you can go about your life just knowing like that, then it happens. It does happen. There's all kinds of ways that it can happen too. But the trick is to not let things get to that shitty position where you really need something to actually allow it in. And that's what I've been doing in my life, is like letting myself get into these crappy positions before I'll even allow what I need in or what I want in. It's like, no, expect way more for yourself. Let those things happen anyway. So go for the bigger things, not just things that you need. Go for things that you want, and same process. Trust the universe. So yeah, maybe you've been doing the same. Maybe you've just only been allowing the basics of what you really need and trusting the universe in that one. Trust the universe on a way bigger level. Yeah, cool story, wasn't it? It is a cool story. A bit scary. And the funny thing was, like, I was just laughing about it afterwards. I was telling people, one of my friends he used to be a bank manager. He was a retired bank manager, and and when I told him about it, he said, "You're so lucky." He said, "You know why?" He said, "When if a bank makes a mistake, anything up to $2,000, it's written off. It's not worth it for them to pursue it. But anything over $2,000, they'll pursue." He said, "You got as much as you could without them pursuing it, put back." They called up saying, "Oh, we've put money in your account by mistake. Can we have it back?" I'm like, "No, I've bought a car. I've bought a car with it. Sorry." But thank you. So yeah, they asked for it, but it's funny. So the universe knew the easiest way to get $2,200 to me. There was another thing about around that time as well that happened. It was, I was doing a little waitressing job. A friend of mine was a manager of a cafe, and one morning he called me up because his waitresses hadn't shown up and he couldn't find anyone to cover. And he's like, "Come and be a waitress for the day for me. It'll be fun." I'm like, "Okay." So I went along, and it was so much fun. Like, I used to go for coffees at this place. A lot of my friends went there, really social kind of cafe. And then there I was all day having fun with my friends, just carrying coffees around to people, really enjoying it, getting a free meal and free coffees from it, and getting paid for it too. I'm like, that was really fun. Like, it was really social and really fun. I really enjoyed it. Anyway, the owner of it noticed. He was there that day. He noticed. He's like, "You're really loving this, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah, it's so much fun. I'm like, getting paid for it too. It's great." And he's like, "Well, do you want shifts?" He's like, "The customers are liking you. Do you want shifts here?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do some shifts." Like, I was just working at home alone, having customers come in doing my neurotherapy at that point. So I'm like, "Yeah, I'd love to do that." And so I started doing that, and I'm really loving it. Just really loving. I love that customer contact thing. I like that. I found out I didn't like it. I used to be a waitress way back when I was 16 in the UK, and I hated it there. But I really enjoyed it at this cafe. Anyway, somebody showed. There was a customer at that cafe, and she has got a property out in the hills, and she does like these 5-star weddings there. And she'd noticed how great I was with customers, and she said to me, I put these weddings on, and so I need waitresses for like on Saturdays, sometimes Sundays, but usually Saturdays for these weddings. Would you be able to do it? And I said, "Yeah, I can do that. I can do that." She said, "Well, but you'll need not just to be a waitress. You'll need your responsible service of alcohol. So this is a qualification that you have to get if you are working behind a bar in Australia, right? And so I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And so then I go to the government place or whatever to see when the next running that. And there's one coming up, but I don't have the money to do it. Like, it wasn't even that expensive, but yeah, like 3 kids at the time, you know, my money was just going. It was coming in and it was going out on food and stuff for them, school stuff for them. Oh, that was such a drain. School just needed me to buy stuff all the time. It's like I would be getting ahead and then the school would say, your kid needs all these books, and it'd be like, that's all that money gone. Oh, it was tiring. So yeah, I didn't have the money to do it, and it was only like $70 or something. I don't know, maybe it was 170. It wasn't very much. But I didn't have it, right? So I went in. I was getting family assistance. I don't know if it's the same now, but everyone in Australia at the time, if you had kids, then you got this payment from the government. And so I went in the whatever it's called, Centrelink, and asked them, saying, I want to do that. Like, can I get a sub on the next payment because I need to do this responsible service of alcohol to do this job. And they said, oh, we can't do that, not on the family assistance thing. It's like against the rule. And then he's looking at his screen for my information. I'm sat on the other side of the screen. He's like, are you expecting a lot of money from us? And I said, no. He's like, hang on a minute. And then he went off to an office to talk to someone about it. Came back to his screen. It's like, we're about to give you like $800 because we didn't pay you enough last year or something, or in the previous months. And I'm like, thank you. It's like, it should arrive in your bank today. Like, I'm like, cool. And so then I got plenty. Then I got plenty to do it and whatever else I needed to. So these things, they just show up. And I don't know, like, it was whether I was, receiving that guidance that it was going to come through Centrelink. And that's why I went in thinking one way to get it is to go and ask them for some money up front. Yes. So good. So good. So I don't know who needed to hear that, but yeah, if you're using money as an excuse, then it's not really an excuse. You can go ahead in full trust. Even if it's scary, have courage. Yeah, go back and watch the daily read. You got a bit more information about that, AP. Right. Yeah, it takes nerves of steel to do that. Christina works as a waitress now. I love it, but only in certain places. Like the vibe has to be a certain way for me to want to do that. I wouldn't want to do it here. There's not anywhere I'd want to work here. There's not anywhere that's got that same vibe about it. But yeah, I really enjoyed that, and the weddings were beautiful. Some of them were horrible. Some of them were horrible. It was like some of them, you could tell it was an abusive relationship, and all the people were angry and oh yuck. But most of them were absolutely beautiful, and I needed to do that as well because I'd like broken up from my marriage a few years before that, and I was very pessimistic about it, thinking that I'd never get married again, and I needed to see some good wedding stories, I think. You allow yourself to get distracted, Christina. Yeah, meditation can really help with that too. It can help with keeping focus. It's like one of the first things that it helps you with. It's because when you're meditating, you're focusing on one thing, like your breath. So focus is the first thing that it helps you with. Anyone else? Does anyone else want a reading? Did I miss someone out that asked for one? I can't remember. Yeah, if you want like questions answering. Anne. Did you want one, Anne? Are you still there? Just looking back through all the messages. I'm going to give you a reading anyway, Anne. Even if you don't want it, just stick your fingers in your ears. If you're still there. If you're not there, I'll message you, Anne, and let you know what time this is starting at 55 minutes. Okay, Anne, you got to release the guilt and start appreciating yourself. We could always have done better, but don't look back like that. Look back in appreciation of yourself. It's not always about what you can do for other people. It's about learning yourself and appreciating yourself. So what I mean by that is sometimes we do things and we learn from it and we grow from it. We know not to do that anymore. We know it doesn't feel good, or we learn something about it. And if we affected someone else by it, instead of feeling guilty by that, well, what about feeling good because we got a lesson from that? You know, it's like allow that other person to give to us, give that experience to us, give that. Don't feel guilty about it. And this is about gratitude. Writing down, this is good for everybody. Write down a list of everything you're grateful for. You know how I said that the subconscious mind, if you let that take over, that's got that negative bias, and so it can give us a negative bias. One way just to turn that around is to focus on everything that you're grateful for and everything you like about something. What do you love about what's going on? And even more powerful when you write it down. And so you can have like a practice. You can do it before your meditation or after your meditation, of writing everything down you're grateful for. I used to do it when I was exercising in the morning. I used to just out loud, say it out loud, go through everything that I was grateful for. And once you get on a roll, especially when you're exercising, because your energy is uplifted when you're exercising, well, mine is anyway. I know some people don't like it, but I really do. And so, yeah, that can be a real powerful practice, and to the gratitude. I'm pretty sure you mentioned that before anyway. So you're on track, Anne? Right, I'm going to leave it there. And I'm going to meditate for myself now. If you'd like a private reading, it's the full moon today in about, I don't know, I think it's 4 o'clock in the morning for me. It's 9 o'clock in the morning now. So it's like less than 24 hours away. My math, 24, like 16 hours away, something like that. Yeah, I've got $20 off my full moon readings if you're interested in one of those. Also, all of the full moon readings for every star sign is up on my YouTube channel. Check those out. Click like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Yesterday I put up all of the week ahead readings for every star sign. And now, that's it. I'm not going to meditate. I'm going to do all my videos. Now I'm going to shoot all the videos for the daily reads for this next week and the general read for the week ahead. Then I'm going to meditate. Then I'm going to go and get some cheesecake and coffee, and I'm going to go buy some blueberries. That's my day. And then go training later, Muay Thai. Wow. Thank you, AP. You have a good day too. See you tomorrow if you come on in here. If not, have a great day tomorrow as well. Bye. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for clicking like too.